What's up, guys? John here. The Fed is scheduled to cut interest rates on September 18th.
The highly anticipated Fed meeting is this week. On Wednesday, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce it's cutting interest rates for the first time in 4 years.
Now, what's very eerie is September 18th, 2007 is when the Fed cut rates the first time in that cycle. This fueled the great financial crisis about a year later. Lehman Brothers went bankrupt September 15th, 2008.
Brought down by bad mortgage investments, Lehman, which has 25,000 employees, will be liquidated.
So when you look at what happened with Lehman, you look at what happened with households, millions of households throughout America, AIG, some major banks are in big trouble. What is happening right now is on a magnitude far greater than what happened back then. And I believe we could be walking into a very big storm. Now, I want to be very clear. In 2022, in late 2022, I predicted that we're not going to see rate cuts until 2025, early 2025, that there will not be any interest rate cuts until 2025. So what my research and my researchers' data have led us to believe. And there's a chance that I could have been wrong by 3 months. And I'll own that if I was wrong. But if this does happen, we're damn close within 3 months. This is far greater accuracy than what we would get on the media and basically anywhere else. Economists were wrong all throughout 2023, 2024, early 2024, saying rate cuts. Nothing happened. If we get these rate cuts, I'm warning America that a very big problem is right in front of us. We're walking into a stage 5 storm. I'm not saying this to be dramatic, but look at the data, look at what's actually happening, and you'll be able to see clearly what's going to likely happen next. So take a look at this. In July, a report on the fall of Denver and the fall of Ohio, 2 months before the media. In 2023, I predicted federal rent control would come and food price controls would come to combat inflation. The White House is now working to make both of these laws.
Passed the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
My incredible team provides tomorrow's news today. Only 30% of all viewers are subscribed. If you subscribe, the algorithm will reward the channel and we can expand and grow and hire more researchers. Thank you for simply clicking the red button to subscribe to the channel. Now on to the video. September 15, 2008 is when Lehman fell, right? They said the reason that the 2008 recession started was because a combination of banks being unable to provide funds to businesses and homeowners paying down debt rather than borrowing and spending. Now we're walking into a credit contraction. We're seeing it across the construction industry right now. We're seeing it across commercial real estate. It's much harder to get a loan today than it was several years ago. And so as this happens, and you'll start to hear conversations from, senators and people like Elizabeth Warren saying, we need to cut interest rates. We need to cut interest rates right now to save the economy. All this is going to do is it's going to really just kick the economy in this direction, which is going to likely lead to a major crisis across the entire spectrum. It's going to be crazy. So look at this. A supersized Fed rate cut this month could be very dangerous for markets, economist warns, right? Came out on the 5th. And says a deeper interest rate cut for the Federal Reserve this month could spook financial markets and send the wrong message about imminent risk of the recession, according to The Economist. It comes as policymakers and the U.S. Central Bank are widely expected to start lowering interest rates when they meet September 17th and 18th, with investors closely monitoring economic data for clues on how a big rate move likely to deliver. Now, what happens if they cut rates? We're going to see gold soar, I can promise you. We're going to start to see a lot of money flow to safety assets. People are going to start getting really skittish about what's going to happen next. Now, in 2007, in this range here, look at where total liabilities were for households, right? Look at where they're at right now. Real wages are falling in America. Real wages are falling and debt has never been higher. It's never been worse for most. You're seeing auto loan delinquencies and defaults at a 15-year high. When this came out Friday, September 13th. You see Inc. magazine, consumer loan delinquencies starting to plateau, right? Late payments on credit cards, when that come out? Oh, same day, September 13th, right? So you're seeing, even right here, it says the share of adults experiencing difficulty paying for household expenses jumps 37% in July. Among all states, Mississippi residents have the most trouble affording basic needs. Share almost half, 49.5%. This is followed by 45.5% in Alabama, 43.5% in West Virginia, 43.1% in Louisiana. People can't afford anything. They say fast food's a luxury. 80% of Americans consider that, right? So you look at this, then you look at this major problem this bank term funding program. Remember when Silicon Valley Bank fell, First Republic fell, PacWest got acquired by Bank of California, all these banking issues in 2023 in March. Well, they came forward with something called a bank term funding program to provide liquidity, be a helping hand to these banks. Well, 1,804 banks took money. How much did they take? Answer, $165 billion. They took $165 billion and they lent these banks this money on the notion that they had no losses. Meaning, let's say there was a commercial real estate deal. This deal was $100 million. That's what they initially underwrote the loan on. The deal saying this is what it's worth, and maybe they did it in 2021. Now that building might be worth 50 million, 60 million, maybe 40 million. The bank term funding program came in and said, you know what, we're going to underwrite this deal based on the 100 million that you did just a few years ago. So we'll give you the loan of credit. We'll give you this line of credit. This will be fine. Pay us back in a year. And so these banks saying, okay, great, I'm going to take this money and, we'll pay you back. Well, they're going to have to pay back this money based on an asset that's probably fallen further in value than it did, a year ago when they took out the money. And so you have the remaining 1,804 banks to pay this money back and call it 5-6 months. So if they cut rates in September 18th, on Wednesday, you're going to see a lot of these banks, I believe, walk into financial hardship coming Q1, Q2 of next year. It's going to be a bloodbath for a lot of these financial institutions. On top of $2.2 trillion in commercial real estate maturing over the next several years. So it's left, right, and center. You look at, they're saying this is what fueled the great financial crisis, a combination of banks being unable to provide funds to businesses and homeowners, paying down debt rather than borrowing and spending. What happened over the last 4 years? It was a money borrowing rampage from private equity, from retail investors, from everybody. Everyone was borrowing, and it's never been crazier in American history. And now this money is coming due and banks are going to tighten up liquidity. What is this going to mean? Well, it's going to mean a lot of banks are not going to get paid back, and we're going to see a scenario where they're going to start tightening up credit even further because of this. Look at Verizon, for example. Verizon put this out on September 13th, the same day as the other two outlets about credit cards and auto loan delinquencies. They're laying off 5,000 employees by March. Right now they're saying mortgage rates dropped to a 15-month low, and see how much you could save with monthly payments. Well, many people said, hey, John, when we get mortgage rates to go from 8.5% to 6%, the real estate market, the mortgage market is going to go parabolic. It's going to go insane. Barbara Corcoran said this. A lot of very prominent financial economists and entertainers and gurus said, when rates go down, we are going to see a boom in the housing market. Well, rates are down, and so are real estate jobs. So are, it's across the board. Home sales are at an all-time low, even though rates have dropped dramatically. Why? Consumers are tapped out. It says, while lower rates could give home buyers more purchasing power, they could also lead to intense competition for homes in the market, driving to record high home prices even further. This is if rate cuts happen, right? This is going to be for the top 1 to 5%ers in America, right? They're going to be borrowing. They're going to try to invest in hard real assets. They have the liquidity, they have the banking relationships. They're going to try to do this. Why? Because the dollar is going to be in very, very, very big trouble over the coming 4 to 5 years. And it's going to be a race to allocate capital for those that can. Look at what's happening in the real estate market right now. The real estate agent count fell 72,000 year over year, or 14%, marking the largest drop since 2008. So real estate agent jobs are hitting 2008 type of numbers. You're seeing home builders facing credit crunch as, look, this came out September 14th, as banks cut lending, right? So you're seeing the same writing on the wall. Even consumers are pulling back on dining out, going to restaurants. Now, what I think is going to happen, if I were, to take a guess here, make a prediction, if they do cut rates in September, we're going to start to see a very, very, very big problem unfold in America over the coming 12 months. It could be a variety of situations. It could be a potential black swan event. We live in a crazy world where that is possible. Feels like we're hit with some crazy event every week or 2 weeks. At least that's been the scenario the last year or two. We could be walking into something really, really, really big here. But I think regardless, even if we don't see, some type of black swan event, we'll definitely see is a credit crunch to America's middle class. That's what I think is going to happen. I think credit scores are going to become more important than ever. Your debt load is going to become more important than ever to a lender. They're going to be underwriting everything with a laser. I mean, it's going to be so careful. They're going to be so conservative with every single loan. It's not going to be like 2021 where if you had a pulse, you were getting a loan. They're going to be cautious about whom they're lending money to. So if you are someone that has very ambitious goals of going out there and investing, use the next 6 months. Put yourself in the best position possible. Maybe you have a car that you can't afford. Maybe you have a situation that's very challenging. You want to try to find a solution to this now. Get your I's dotted and your T's crossed, so that when we walk into a really big problem, you can go out there and buy a duplex, buy a house, buy a fourplex, buy an investment property. You can grow a business. You can do what you need to do. Because most people, they're going to say, you know what? It's not going to happen. We're going to have a soft landing. Everything's going to be good, and we're not going to have any problems. And they're going to prepare for a no event. And those people, I think, are going to get left behind. So those that are making smart and calculated decisions, and they're putting themselves in the best position now, are going to be rewarded for doing so. What do you think about this entire situation? Let's have a conversation about this below. And if you'd like to fix your credit, maybe you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative or derogatory items, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. You can click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Catch you next video.